The story begins with news about Diego Ricardo, the youngest person on Earth, getting stabbed in Argentina for refusing to sign an autograph. Both Diego and the fan who asked for the autograph didn't survive, as the crowd turned violent. Diego's claim to fame was being the youngest person at 18 in the year 2027. People in a London coffee shop watch this news. Theo, a man in the coffee shop, leaves just before an explosion occurs. Later at work, everyone is saddened by Diego's death. Diego's significance lies in being the last person born due to widespread infertility, symbolizing 18 years of a barren planet. Now, there's a new youngest person who is also 18. The impact of Diego's passing hits Theo hard. He asks his boss to work from home due to the unexpected emotional toll. On his way home, Theo witnesses a protest where people throw things at a train. Immigrants are held in cages guarded by armed police. Theo meets Jasper, and they drive to Jasper's hideaway home. Jasper's wife remains silent and motionless. Theo and Jasper share a moment discussing the irreparable damage caused by infertility even if a solution is found. They listen to disturbing music, and Jasper dances. The next morning, Theo heads to work but is kidnapped by a militant immigrants' rights group called Fishes. This group was responsible for the coffee shop explosion. Shockingly, Theo's ex-wife, Julian, leads the group. Theo is taken to Julian, who asks for his help. She desperately seeks his assistance. Her plea is simple: help her obtain transit papers for a refugee named Key, essential for navigating through security checkpoints. She promises him a reward of $5,000, but he kindly refuses, claiming he doesn't need the money. Despite his refusal, some men intervene, bundling him up and placing him on a bus. The scene shifts to Theo in a car heading towards a building where he meets his cousin Nigel, a high-ranking government official. They share a meal during which Theo seeks Nigel's help in acquiring the transit papers. Nigel's son Alex joins them at the table, displaying peculiar behavior. After lunch, Theo and Nigel leave to discuss matters further. Meanwhile, we find Luke and Theo at a bar. Luke hands Theo a file with crucial information, and Theo informs him that he'll now be escorting someone for additional payment. A missing dog poster on the table catches Theo's eye, but Luke leaves abruptly without touching his beer. The narrative transitions to Theo at a stadium betting on a dog race. A woman approaches him with the same missing dog poster, revealing that the dog has been found. Theo rushes to catch a bus and encounters Julian, with whom he engages in a conversation about their lost son. An argument ensues, and Julian storms out. The bus reaches its destination, and Theo follows Julian to an unusual location. He questions why she approached him for transit papers when other means were available. She expresses trust in him, stopping to share a kiss that leaves Theo disoriented. They enter a car driven by Luke, and Theo finally meets Key, accompanied by Miriam, a former midwife. During the journey to Canterbury, Theo takes a nap and is later awakened by a playful interaction between Julian and him. Their moment is disrupted by a burning car blocking their path, orchestrated by an armed gang. The gang attacks their car, resulting in a fatal shooting of Julian. Theo manages to escape the assailants and, along with the others, continues the journey. The group encounters police along the way, and Luke cleverly deals with the situation, allowing them to resume their journey. They hide Julian's body in the bush, where Miriam performs a peculiar ritual over it. Theo, overcome with grief, excuses himself for a moment of solitude. As Theo returns to the car, the atmosphere becomes somber. They reach a fisherman's safe house in the evening, where they decide to camp for the night. Miriam approaches Theo on behalf of Key, leading him to a cowshed. There, she reveals that she is pregnant and claims that Julian told her Theo is the only person she can trust. Now, Key has become Theo's responsibility. She's scared and asks Theo for help, just as Luke rushes into the shed, thinking Key is in trouble. This situation is a big deal because Key is now officially the only pregnant woman in the world. However, she's a refugee, and the government treats refugees poorly, like animals. They can't risk her being discovered by the wrong people. According to the BBC, Theo, Luke, Key, and Miriam are now wanted terrorists. They start strategizing on how to get Key to the Human Project, a secret group of scientists working to solve infertility. Theo suggests that Key should go public because she needs medical care. However, the others think Theo has a goldfish brain and underestimate the risks considering the way refugees are treated. Despite the news declaring Key wanted, Theo wants her to go public as the only fertile woman in 18 years. Key values Theo's opinion, but this time, she decides to have her baby in the safe house before going to the Human Project. Unable to sleep that night, Theo hears voices outside. He eavesdrops on the fishes, discovering that Julian's death was planned so Luke could become the leader. Shocked, Theo wakes up Key, and they decide to leave immediately because the fishes want her baby. Sneaking out in the middle of the night, Theo manages to get them into a car and away from the safe house. The car is in bad shape, making the escape even more challenging. They narrowly avoid being caught by the fishes but manage to escape. Theo takes them to Jasper's house, where he initially thinks Jasper has passed away in his chair, but Jasper was just sleeping. Theo introduces Miriam and Key to Jasper, who warmly welcomes them with home-cooked meals and gossip. Jasper sees Key's baby as the miracle the world has been waiting for and plans to help her reach the human project safely. After some rest, Theo goes to meet Key and asks about the father of her baby, and Key reveals to Theo that she didn't know she was pregnant until much later into the pregnancy. Feeling like a freak, she explains she had never seen a pregnant woman before. She expresses her desire to name the baby Frawley, but Theo objects, emphasizing that this would be the first baby in 18 years, and naming it Frawley might not be suitable. Jasper arrives with important news: he has found a boat that can take them to the human project. His friend Sid, an immigration cop, has agreed to help smuggle them into Beck Hill on a ship disguised as a fishing vessel. That night, Theo eavesdrops as Jasper shares the story of how he and Julian met at a protest and had a child who was lost to the flu pandemic in 2008. Overwhelmed, Theo decides to go to sleep. Theo is awakened by an alarm indicating a break-in. Jasper quickly puts them in a car, providing a map and a bag for Sid. He insists they go without him and stays behind. In the car, Theo witnesses the fishes breaking into Jasper's house and feels a deep sense of sadness. Theo then drives to the bush, where he watches the fishes capture and clap Jasper. Returning to the car, Theo is visibly upset. He wakes up later in his car and heads into a dilapidated building where Sid is waiting. They board Sid's truck, and on the bus, Key starts experiencing contractions. Eventually, her water breaks as they reach a refugee camp. A guard attempts to take Key away, but Miriam sacrifices herself to protect her. Key and Theo witness as Miriam is taken away, likely facing a grim fate. Sid helps them board a bus, and during the journey, Key's contractions intensify. They arrive at a refugee camp, and in the night, her water breaks. As they reach a camp, a guard tries to separate Key and Miriam, but Miriam sacrifices herself to protect Key. Theo and Key witness as Miriam is taken away. In the morning, Sid informs them about a war between the refugees led by the fishes and the military. Meanwhile, Marichka's dog betrays them, revealing Key's baby to Sid. Realizing the bounty on Theo and Key's heads, Sid intends to hand them over to the fishes. Marichka, despite not speaking English, helps them overpower Sid, and they escape through a door. Sid attempts to catch up, but Theo intervenes with a stone, injuring his leg. Theo joins Key as Marichka leads them to a boat, stopping by a friendly house to hide. Key insists on naming the child Bazooka, prompting a humorous objection from Theo. After leaving the house, they head to the boat, but the situation has escalated into a full-scale war outside. They are intercepted by Luke and the fishes, who take Key against her wishes and harm the man who helped them earlier. Amidst the chaos, Theo and Marichka seize the opportunity to escape, running away from the conflict. In the middle of all the loud noises from guns and explosions, Theo is determined to find Key and her baby. He dodges bullets and traces them to a building. When he finally locates them, he tries to take them away, but Luke, the dangerous person, stops them. Luke points a gun at them, talking about forgetting what a kid looks like and how the fishes need the baby. When Luke looks away, Theo seizes the chance to escape with Key. Soon after, there's an explosion in the room, and Luke is blown up. With all the chaos, the baby is upset and crying loudly, making everyone aware that Key has a baby. Even the military guys pause their fighting momentarily. As Theo and Key pass through, some people even bow down and worship them. However, the ceasefire doesn't last, and the shooting resumes before they can pass safely. They reconnect with Marichka, who helps them into a rowboat. Theo rows them to the meeting point with the boat. Above them, fighter jets fly, and Theo is bleeding. He advises Key to always keep her baby close, as if he knows something bad might happen to him soon. Despite his injuries, he smiles when Key finally names the baby Dylan, after Theo and Julian's lost son. Theo then passes out right there on the boat. As the boat, meant to take them to the human project, approaches, the screen cuts to black.